But my recommendation would be your emotional figure usually has to be more than your logical figure.
It sounds good on paper, but it doesn't check out, ma. My 100% only got 40%, ma.
Are you seeing a good financial advisor?
No, I am. No, but here's the thing. Here's how that thing works. Cause Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new series called The Boys Table. Now, in the studio with me today, we have interesting guests that I'm very excited to have a conversation with. Of course, here at FRCV, we always talk about financials, but here we're going to talk about financials throughout different stages of life. And there are boys with me, my boys, who are going to talk me through things that I've yet to experience, so we can explore like life stages as we go along and see how that feels like. So without further ado, I would like to have the boys introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Joshua. I've been in industry for 11 years, happily married with 2 boys, and both parents have retired.
Hi everyone, my name is Joel. I am very happy to be here today. So I am coming up 10 years in the financial services industry, and I'm very excited to be here with my bros because Josh and John, we know each other, I think 15 years already. So very happy to be here. I happen to be happily divorced, I must say. Why not, right? So yes, I'll be giving a bit of that perspective as well.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jonathan. I've just crossed my 8th year as a consultant in the industry. So it's been a privilege working with hundreds of clients. And today I represent my single friends and viewers out there. Right? Hope to give you all some really solid takeaways. So yeah, I'm ready for this.
Today we're here to talk about very interesting concepts on like finance and like life stages. What our goal objectives now here might be very different from what you are going to experience in the future. Is our expectations of what we've learned during my life stage relevant going off in the future? How is it different for all of you? Of course,
I think for singles, we have the privilege, right? Because we don't have commitments towards like a spouse or children. So we get to prioritize our personal commitments as well as our growth. Right, so definitely things like your financial commitments, you want to invest in yourself, make sure your insurance investments are taken care of, right? So the special thing that our group has is really to invest in our personal growth, right? So if you're into, say, health, you're into business, you're into specific skill set, you get to allocate more money to that. So for myself, like early on, I managed to invest in a really big sum, right, into my business skills to ensure that I'm growing.
Right.
And I think for a lot of viewers, like if you have certain interests or things that you want to do, you get to do it before all the commitments come in. So that's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's for the single side. Yeah.
Right. Then moving on, we have let's go with married side.
Yeah, I represent the married couples with
Yes.
kids or without yet. Okay, so as a self-employed, maybe I will just share a little bit, just to be relevant as well, right? Is that I actually pay myself a salary,
Right.
just to separate my business expense from my personal expenses.
Right.
And how I go about planning is really more like a percentage.
Okay.
Because I have seen people, earning a lot but also spending a lot. So it's always wise to, take something to, a percentage or a number
Right.
to how you plan your finances. Yeah, so for me, of course, a lot goes to the family.
Okay.
Monthly bills and all. Yeah, but I do have a set of non-negotiables.
Right.
For example, like their insurances, my insurances, our investments. Those are things that I probably allocate it very purposefully.
Right. So okay, between John and Josh, I have this weird question. Does your planning and like investment plans, right, become less ambitious? A lot of the opportunities then become closed by default, right? Because you no longer have a risk appetite to even include or consider all these kind of things. And a lot of your planning then becomes very reserved, does it not?
As your income earning capacity grows, I think you also learn across time, how to be wiser with how you allocate your finances.
Right.
So I don't think necessarily it always translates to I will do more if I earn more. Actually, you become more careful with how you allocate. Yeah, but of course, if you have the capacity to do more, there's definitely a higher risk profile.
Right. So now that we have the insights of single to married, once that ball and chain goes off, what happens? And now let's shift the perspective to Joel. Now, how does your planning change where you used to have a lot of commitments and now the commitments are, I won't say less, they are different. So how would that change your financial planning?
I think for me, it went from something more complex because relationships are complex.
Right.
And life, my philosophy is life can be very complicated. So for me, even in my journey, it's keeping things as simple as possible.
Right.
Something that you can even teach a 5-year-old. Yeah. So for me, my financial plan has become more and more simple over the years.
Oh, okay.
My life also. Yeah. Can you feel my freedom? Sorry, I don't know if this is gonna be. Anyways, so of course, I'm sure a lot of people know the acronym KISS, right? Keep it stupidly simple.
Right.
Yeah. So for me, 100% of my income that comes in goes into a pyramid.
Right.
Not pyramid scheme.
Okay.
So if you can imagine me 4 levels, there'll be 40% below,
Right.
30%, then 20%, 10%.
Right.
So that adds up to 100%. So at the top, 10% will be giving. So people I love, especially my parents. Yeah. No more partner. Yeah. Then the 20% will be the 2 I's. Very easy to remember. Insurance, investments. 30% for now, I keep it liquid. Because I'm turning 35 next year.
Right.
Just an age review. So I can get my own property this time myself. And then I do monitor and track my expenses to be within 40%. So including my business expenses. Yeah. So these are the 10 parts. But eventually after I get my house, every other of the 30% will go into investments with iFast.
Right. Plug. No, but okay, so this is a quite novel concept to me because I've never considered using expenses being pegged to a percentage of your income. Right? Because usually people are like, okay, these are the things that are like my personality. If I'm a like pumpkin spice latte girl, I cannot go without it, you know. If every can't tell me like, okay, you need to get yourself insured, but okay, you cannot have a pumpkin spice latte. I tell you now, new generation will be like, it's okay. I go outside, I cannot bank, it's okay. But if let's say you're like self-employed, that changes significantly, no? Does it not? And then you'll be like, okay, today I am hungry, but if I don't go and find business, right, then today is Maggie, tomorrow also Maggie. Does that give you like more stress if you were to like plan your system out like that?
Because we do pay ourselves a salary.
Correct.
So even if that month the business is not so good, we draw from our reserves.
So the business planning part would be then there would still be leftover when no sales, but it's okay, I still can pay myself.
Yes.
Okay.
From our sound like a lot, but from our emergency fund.
Treasury.
Again, I can add on this. It's kind of like having a business, right? If you have a business, you don't like as and when just draw from it.
Correct.
Right? You still pay your staff a salary, you pay yourself a salary. And it's actually easier to plan. Like when it comes to percentage, it's far easier than with a variable kind of income that comes in.
So do you actively go and like check in on what makes up that 40%?
Yes. So for me, I actually have instilled a habit that was very tough to implement, as with many habits are like, for example, going to the gym or eating healthy.
Right.
But for me, I religiously track every of my expense. So let's say I took MRT here, 150. I just put into. So let me.
Wow.
I'm not sponsored, right, for sure. But this app is free and beautiful. It's called Money Manager, orange color. There's a piggy bank sign. I don't know if the camera can see it, but this is the pie chart of how much I like. One quarter goes into dating expenditure. Shucks. Then like health, like things like massages, I see a therapist and things like that. So it forces me to be very conscious of exactly how much I'm spending.
Right.
So I think to your question just now, Ian, you mentioned about how do you, I think the word is budget, right?
Right.
But for me, I've learned the term, because budget sounds very constricting.
Correct.
But for me, I read it from a book as well. It talks about spending plan. That means how much do I want to spend each month on, let's say, the pumpkin latte.
Right.
Yeah, it is, let's say, $6 a day.
Right.
Sorry, $6 twice a week, 12, then it becomes $50. So that's my spending plan, for example. Yeah.
Wait.
But I'm very curious, Ian, because you mentioned about you have this, for yours is, this is what I spend and this is what you don't spend.
Yeah.
So if it's not percentages, then what is it? Because I think it's a very good concept.
My spending plan is okay from now until the end of the year. What I'm gonna buy every month. It's like I play video games. Then you got daily rewards. It feels good for me to I work to the end. I get a thing for the month, right? If let's say I don't find time to eventually use the thing that I'm gonna buy for the month, great news. Next month I got double the supply. So it's not a percentage. Like the thing that I want to buy could range from like $50 to maybe $1,500, right? And then that thing will just be like, this was the money that I was planning to already go up. Therefore, if I don't use it this month, it just goes over to this liquid pool in my head that this is what I can spend it on. There's no limit to what I want to buy. It's just what makes me happy that month. When I come to planning, percentages feels like what you said, like a budget. It's very limiting. There are certain things like, for example, let's say my free budget is $700 a month. My phone spoiled. Cannot be don't spend. But you put it as necessity, technically you go and buy those Oppo $200 phone, also phone what? You complain. But then everybody come out iPhone 16, you're like, iPhone 16, hey, you think about it, my budget $700, $400 more, iPhone 16 right? Then you see now, right? This is what I like to call user-created problems. Bro, the budget 你自己 set, the money 你自己 earn. Why are you fussing about it, right? Because now your system has created you stress. Your system is supposed to be seamless and automatic. It's very interesting to think about the fact that as single people, we can do whatever we want with our budgeting. Like, got no consequence.
I'm also single.
Right? But the thing is, because we don't know what we don't know, we've never experienced the fact that we anyhow deal with money in the future. When all this kind of new commune come in, wow, habis no, I think I might plan for, but confirm. But then, does that value diminish as you change? Because to me, right, that part, right, is what I'm spending every month.
Wow, really good question. I think a lot of times that we try to do too hard and too fast and we get burnt out. I think it's similar to like whether it's fitness or other things that we do, is to really keep it simple, know what's really essential to you as a person. I think there's a whole spectrum, right? There are people who are like, okay, I have to count and track to the dollar and cent and I have to put this aside. Then there's another group that, as long as I roughly have that amount, I think I'm good. So if you boil down the idea, is this idea of a logical figure versus an emotional figure, right? So a logical figure is like, I know what, how, when I need to do all these things, right? I work backwards, I know how much I need to set aside every month, and this way definitely things get settled. But for some people, it's more of an emotional figure. Oh, I just need to have $100 for myself.
Correct.
Or I just need to save $500 for this thing. And there's no logical basis whatsoever, right? But it just makes them feel like assured, comfortable, and safe. And that's great, right? And for both of us, right? I do think we're a bit more emotional people.
Yeah.
But my recommendation would be your emotional figure usually has to be more than your logical figure, so that you have the comfort knowing that you have sufficient, definitely, to do the things you want to do.
Right.
And you also feel safe about it. And if
Hey, wait, hold on. Hot tip. Wait,
Pretty good advice.
Okay, no, then so. Wait. I'm slightly confused but very intrigued. So let's say I have a logical figure, which means that, okay, logically spending, I should be 40%, right? Because that's safe.
Yeah.
So my emotional figure should be slightly more than 40%.
Yeah.
It sounds good on paper, but it doesn't check out, ma. My 100% only got 40%.
Are you seeing a good financial advisor?
No, I am. No, but here's the thing. Here's how that thing works. Because what I was taught, right, is that your logical figure should be bigger than your emotional figure.
Oh, I think that's the wrong way around.
You should always pre-plan to have extra, and what you need to spend should always be within your budgeted area. Okay, this is very sad lah, but I agree with it because I'm a pragmatic person. Is that if 40% of my pay, say, is like $500, right? Then that means I need to find something within $500 that makes me happy. I shouldn't need to find something that makes me happy that costs $500. Those are very different things. Because some people will be like, okay, I need to buy the new Gucci whenever it comes out. That makes me happy, right? That makes my emotional sum, say 4K, 5K. Then I need to scale up my income plan to make sure that I can cover that. Because logically, you cannot spend 110%, right? That's all you have. But what he's telling me is that there are many ways to find happiness, and your hobby should, in theory, scale from starter to basically master grade, whatever you're doing. So you can go and buy a wooden stick and call it golf, or you can go and buy a nice driver. What you need to then realize in your brain and how to kickstart an active saving plan is to recognize that the hobby is the thing giving you the joy. It is not the tools that you hobby with. And therefore, you can still enjoy a hobby. So it's like, instead of going to, I don't know, Tanyu and eat one nice big fish, you go to Zap Cai Fan and you just buy the whole road. You also eat until shiok, right? But logically, the expenditure of one time versus left side to right side cai fan will be obviously different, right? So the other way around sounds really good on paper, but how does that even work when my emotional sum is bigger than what I'm technically budgeted to spend?
Because if we really want to get to a place where everything is sorted financially,
Right.
while still enjoying the process, we have to do it in a fun way.
Right.
So one way I encourage a lot of people to spend, right, or rather do it in a smart way, is to use a credit card.
Right.
Because you get savings in the form of spending, right?
Okay.
Cashback, miles. So it makes it more fun. I get to spend and I still get to earn something. And in terms of like saving, I think we have to come to a point where we recognize that there are certain needs that are unmovable, right? Whether it's a house for us, maybe we want a place of our own, right? We definitely need to save for that. And then working backwards, we know how much we need to set aside per month. And we just make sure that emotionally, right? Because I don't want to track this number too every day, like Joel. Okay, no. I think it's a great way, but for me, maybe not. Yeah, I don't want to track everything so religiously.
Right.
I just know, okay, if I really need to save $250, as long as I have roughly around that number, I'm good.
Right,
I'm
yes.
good. Yeah, and that's going to last a long way, and you feel better. You don't have to
Correct.
be so stressed out about
Right.
it.
Okay, now I have an interesting question. We now know that Joel is like Excel sheet master. Then John together with me just like agar ration, best ration. Right. So then, Josh, where do you stand in this spectrum of luan lai to there is only one way to do this?
Okay, actually, it's very interesting. I never really thought about it that way. I mean, going back to the question where you're asking how it changes
Right.
when you are married.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I don't find myself having to always looking at very specific numbers.
Right.
In the sense, but I think that's also because prior to even settling down, I kind of got a big concept.
Right.
I kind of know what milestones I kind of need lah. Right? How much to save up for. So yeah, I mean, if you are looking at a percentage or if you are looking at budgeting or spending plan, right? It will be good to recognize that actually you are saving for a purpose.
Okay.
Right? So for me, I mean, if I know that I always want to settle down, want to have kids, then don't wait until that very end of it, before the baby pops out, then you start sitting in the op theater or the deliveries seat, and
no
then
money.
you start thinking. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's quite cliche lah, but if you really plan ahead, the climb towards the end will be less steep. As a single, actually you can start thinking I am not spending on an iPhone 16 Pro, but
Right.
I'm buying a 16 instead,
Right.
right? It's so that in 3 years' time, I am able to afford something.
Right,
House
right.
Or, something better lah.
Correct, the value proposition
So it's also
lah.
fun that way. Yeah, when you try to balance it out, not just spend accordingly to how you feel.
Right.
Right? That goes quite a long
Yeah.
way actually.
Any emergency happens, they always say, right, make sure to protect yourself first before you protect your children.
Go and find FA, he'll sort it out for you. Then he was like, no, all the FA I meet, right, will just tell me to stop this nonsense.
Actually,
we will all tell him to do
yeah,
this
we will
nonsense.
Correct.
Yeah.